Hello everyone. We're going to get things set up for future apps that you're going to be building. They are going to look very much like this Hello Cody right here. We've got Cody, we've got a label, touch the B, but you'll notice that there's one additional button that says return to menu. That's because this is not being coded on screen 1. We've got our screen 1 that has the menu that takes us to Hello Cody and to the About screen. So I'm going to help you set up your first big app that's going to have all the little apps inside of it. When you go to projects, you can go to My Projects. If it opened one up automatically, it will open up the last app you were working on, assuming you want to keep working on it. Let's start a new project for this. And for this, I'd like you to put the letter P and then what period you are. So let's capitalize that. And then let's say I'm in first period. And you'll need to use underscores. Spaces are not allowed in many places on MIT App Inventor. Put your last name and then your first name in there as well. You can put your preferred first name. Now this is going to be like your mega project. And the first thing is simply going to be a menu. So to do that, we're going to start off with a layout. So layout is what lets us arrange things on the screen. And when you put one inside another, you can put things really wherever you want them. To start off with, we're simply going to use a vertical arrangement. So I'm going to drag it over here, and you can see how it by default does show up on the screen. First thing we always do is then rename, because this default vertical arrangement doesn't tell us very much. I'm just going to do vertical and then add the word menu after it. You'll notice that I did not put a space or an underscore. It's not always necessary. I'm using what's called camel case, which is you just capitalize the first letter of each word. And that's enough for us to be able to read it pretty well. So vertical menu, and then I'm going to go over here on the right-hand side where it says properties, and I'm going to make some changes to it. So the height is set to automatic right now. There's nothing in it, so it said, oh, I'm about that size. What we're going to do is say we're going to use a certain percentage of the screen. Let's try 75%. We could change that later, but if I click 75 here, you'll see that 1/4 of the screen is still available at the bottom. And then this part, 75%, is going to be where we have our buttons for different apps, our menu. Now for the width, we'll just tell it to go ahead and fill the parent. So whatever size the screen is, it's going to go all the way across for the width. It's possible to specify the number of pixels, but that is a rare instance because different tablets, phones are going to have different resolutions. So have it just fill it out. When I click OK, you'll be able to see that arrangement. So this arrangement here also has some alignment things. So whatever is in it is going to be in the left top part. So if I go back to my user interface now and I add a button, you'll see it's in the upper left. So let me go back to vertical menu really quick and just center this. And that way as we add more buttons, they'll simply be centered on the screen. Now I did add a button, and it needs to be renamed. Anytime you add something, it needs to be given a more significant name. And so this first one is going to be our Hello Cody app. Okay, so button Hello Cody. So I do like to put a space after button and then whatever it's called. That's my preference. Now I've got this space underneath as well, and I can just put a button down in there and it'll just show up where it's at. But I like instead to put an arrangement. So let me delete button here and add another arrangement from layout, and this one's going to be a horizontal arrangement. Now once again, we're going to change it, and this is going to be our navigation. So we're going to be able to have how to get around. You could also call this About, but that's going to be the name of the button inside of it. For now, we're going to add another button later. So let me rename this, and it's going to be horizontal navigation. So for this one, we can say automatic height because it's going to take whatever's left over. So this one's in charge, and then this one takes whatever's left. So we don't have to tell it 25%, but the width, we do want it to fill parent as well. Now, why would I want a second arrangement if I'm just going to put a button in there for the About screen? Well, because on this one, I can change and have a different set of alignment. So instead of at the top, I'm going to put the things at the bottom, and instead of the left, I'm going to tell it to be on the right. So watch what happens now when I put another button into this arrangement. It's over on the right-hand side. Now, I do believe my vertical height, width, fill parent, let's just have this fill parent, and it'll fill with, like I said, whatever's left. You don't need to leave it automatic. If I change, I'll show you what I mean. The vertical menu, if I change this to 50%, it'll just split the difference. If I change it to what we'll probably use later in 80%, this just gets whatever's left over. So if you only have a couple of things here, then you might make the area smaller. When you have many things, you might want to squeeze this down. So let's talk about these two buttons next, but this gets us started with our first arrangement.